You open your banking app and close it before it loads. You tell yourself you'll check it later, after coffee, after work, after the weekend. You swipe away the notification that says balance update. You let bills sit unopened on the counter just a little longer than you meant to. It looks like irresponsibility, but it's usually something else. Because if you really didn't care, you wouldn't feel that small tightening in your chest before you tap the app. You wouldn't feel the subtle wave of relief when you decide not to look. So what is that feeling? And why does something as simple as checking a number on a screen feel so emotionally loaded? First, let's say this clearly. You are not broken. Avoiding your bank account doesn't mean you're immature, or lazy, or bad with money. It means your brain has linked finances with something heavier than math. And your brain is very good at protecting you from things that feel heavy, even if protection looks like avoidance. For some people, this pattern begins in unpredictability. Maybe money in your childhood home was tight, or chaotic, or talked about in whispers. Maybe you overheard arguments through thin walls. Maybe you saw stress on someone's face every time a bill arrived. You didn't understand interest rates. You understood tone. You understood tension. And your nervous system learned that money equals instability. So now, years later, when you see your balance, your body doesn't just see numbers. It remembers atmosphere. It remembers what that energy felt like. Avoiding the app isn't about ignorance. It's about predictability. If you don't look, nothing changes. The number exists in a kind of suspended state, undefined. And undefined can feel safer than confirmed. There's a strange comfort in not knowing, because once you know, you have to feel. And feeling is the part your nervous system is trying to regulate. For others, it's not chaos, it's expectation. Maybe you grew up in an environment where success was measured in tangible proof, grades, achievements, savings, progress. Money became a scoreboard. And if you check your account and it doesn't match the version of yourself you think you should be by now, it can quietly shake your identity. I should be further. I should have more. I should have figured this out. Avoiding the balance becomes a way to avoid confronting the gap between who you are and who you believe you're supposed to be. This isn't laziness, it's identity protection. Your brain would rather delay discomfort than challenge the internal story you've been carrying. And then there's overstimulation. Modern life is already loud. Notifications, emails, deadlines, expectations. Money sits on top of all of it. Rent, subscriptions, groceries, debt, savings, emergencies that haven't happened yet but might. When your mental load is already full, checking your bank account can feel like adding one more spinning plate. Your mind whispers, "Not today." Avoidance becomes a way to preserve emotional bandwidth. You're not ignoring responsibility. You're trying to keep your internal system from tipping over. Sometimes it's about control. This might sound strange, but not checking your balance can create a temporary illusion of stability. As long as you haven't seen the number, it hasn't officially disrupted your day. It's like a box you don't open. The contents exist, but they don't flood the room until you lift the lid. So your brain chooses containment. This is a very human form of regulation. We do it with emails, with medical test results, with difficult conversations, with messages we suspect might disappoint us. Avoidance isn't about the content, it's about the emotional spike. And this is where it gets interesting, because the relief you feel when you don't check, that relief reinforces the behavior. Your brain registers it. Oh, that worked. We reduced stress. So next time, it suggests the same strategy. Avoidance becomes autopilot, a small ritual of self-soothing. It's not solving the problem, but it is regulating the emotion. And the brain always prioritizes emotional safety over long-term logic. There's also something quieter here: shame. Not loud shame, not dramatic shame, subtle shame. The kind that says, other adults don't struggle with this. The kind that compares your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. You see people traveling, buying homes, posting milestones. And even if you know social media is curated, part of you absorbs the comparison. So checking your balance becomes more than financial. It becomes relational. Where do I stand? How am I doing? Am I falling behind? If money is tied to worth in your internal world, then seeing a lower number can feel like a personal evaluation. And your mind protects you from perceived evaluation, especially if, earlier in life, performance was closely watched.